All right, good day, scholars. Today we're going to be working on your application here. This is for the Emotions app. If you didn't finish the last video from weeks ago, finish that first, obviously. This is kind of what it should look like. You can change your colors around, all that stuff. I'm sure you guys kind of did what you want here. But we're going to continue on with this. So I talked with your group last week, I believe, early last week. And we got to add some stuff here. So we got to do the code, obviously. We need to add some indicators onto the screen so the user knows what button they selected. Um, Answer buttons and a fake answer from mom here. So it's not actually going to work. And we're going to hide these buttons when you ask mommy a question. All right. So first off, let's work on these buttons. What we have to do is we need to make it to where when the kid clicks on one of these, right, they are indicated in some way that that's the one that they chose. We could do this in a few different ways. Let me think for a second. Um, what are the properties of this? So we can change the color of this. We can change the height of this. Let's let me think for a second here. So let's do it this way. Let's make it to where when the user clicks on a button, it'll make that button larger and it'll make the other ones, let's just make the button larger. We could have it to where they click on one and it makes the rest of them smaller. That's going to be a lot of code though. So we're just going to have it where the button gets a little bit larger just to show the user that that's what they've selected. Um, yeah, let's do that. Let's do that real quick. So I'm doing this off the top of my head. So heads up, if I make a mistake, we'll see we'll fix it. We'll fix it. So I'm gonna name all these buttons first off, so I know what these buttons do. Because once we get into the code, that's gonna be an issue. So I'm gonna go button by button, and just name these. I'm gonna call it happy button. I'm gonna call this one sad button. I'm just gonna go down the list here. Hungry button. Full button. I guess I've made that one. You guys might have changed the name of these or what these did. Which is fine. I'm just gonna go with what I have here. I'm gonna go with bored button, snack button, angry button. Fantastic. Okay. Now that those are named, what we can do is we can go to our blocks up here. So we might not have done this before. Blocks, boom, click on the button. And this is where our code's going to be. We're going to grab the happy button, and we're going to grab when happy button is clicked, we want it to make the happy button larger. Happy button. I guess we do height and width, huh? I guess that's what we got to do, right? Height percent. Come on, go in there. Okay. So set happy button height percent to, and then we're going to copy and paste this. I'm going to just Control C, Control V. And I'm going to change this width percent. So if we go back to our designer, what is it set at right now? 10 by 40. So if we make it, let's just up by, 20 by, what would this look like? Let's change it to 20 by 50. I'm just going to see what this looks like. So don't do this necessarily, but I want to see how big this makes it. 20 by 50. Okay, that does make it larger. And we also have to make the height of this larger, right? Oh, this is gonna be more than I want it to be. Let's change this back real quick. You know what'd be easier? In the middle of this, I'm changing already. Let's just change the text color. That'd be way easier. So we're gonna get rid of this. So when they click on the happy button, right, we wanted to change the text color of the happy button. Happy button text color to colors. And you can kind of do it however you want. Let's make the font size larger too. So I'm gonna change the text color to black. And I'm gonna make the text size of that button go larger as well. Text, color, text, size. What is that called? Font size. That makes sense now that I looked at it. Font size. Here we go. And we're going to make the font size go larger as well. So let's see what it's at the moment. It is at 25%. What would that look like at 35? Okay, it makes it quite a bit larger. So we're gonna have that change to 35%. So we're gonna grab some math actually. Math, number, I'm gonna change it to 35. So all that does right now, okay, and you could test it if you wanted to, but I'm not going to. When they click on this button, it makes the text larger and it changes it to black. So they know, okay, I have happy selected, or it makes it's an indicator, right? So let's do this. Let's finish this off. So we could figure this out later, but I already see there's going to be a problem, right? When they click on it, right, it's going to make the text larger. It's going to turn it black to indicate that they have it selected. What we could do is we want them to be able to, when they click on it again, right, it's gonna turn it off. Now I thought about maybe you can have the kid only have one button on at a time, but that's not how emotions work, right? You could be happy and hungry. You could be sad and bored. And we want to make sure that makes it to where the user can indicate multiple emotions at once, right? So I thought about when they hit happy, happy will get bigger. If they hit sad, it will automatically turn happy off, but I don't think we're going to do that. But we do need to make it to where they can turn off the emotion, right? So what we got to do is we need to use some logic. We need some if-then here from the control section. So if, let's see, how are we going to do this? If the text color is white, boom. Oh, we need some math too, y'all. Math equal. So if the text color is equal to white, then it will set the happy button text color to black and the font size to 35. What we're going to do is we're going to click on this little cog here. We're going to add an else, and we're going to change it back. So I'm going to grab this one. I'm going to paste it. I'm going to grab this one, Control C, Control V, paste it. Else, turn it back to white, change it to 25. So what this does, I know this might be a little bit hard to kind of understand here because it's been a while. When they click on the happy button, right, if it is white already and it's font size 25, okay, so if the happy button is equal to text color white, it's going to set it to black. It's going to set the font size to 35. If it's not white, which means it's ostensibly maybe black, right? It'll set it back to white and set the font size back to 25. So this way, when the user clicks on it, right, when they click on this for the first time, if this text color was white, it will make it larger and turn it to black. If they want to turn off the emotion, they'll click it again. It will change it from the large font size back to 25, and it will change the text color back to white, okay? And we're going to do that for each of the buttons. So this one's done. All we got to do, click on this, Control C, Control V, happy button, angry button, right? When the happy button text color is, and we got to change these all to angry button. Angry button for all of them. Boom. Now the angry button will do the same exact thing. And we're just going to do that for every single one of these. So we have angry button, bored button. Go through and change all these as a bored button. This we don't have to write code for every single one. We don't have to write in super long if-then statement. We have a short if-then statement here. But yeah, this will be a nice simple way for us to, so full button, for us to indicate to the user that the button is selected or not selected by just changing the color of the font and making the size a little bit larger. I'm just going to keep on going through this. You guys get the idea, right? So we have happy button, hungry button we don't have, change it to hungry button. And there are other ways of accomplishing this task, but I think this one would be pretty easy. Sad button. And this way, the user can also have multiple emotions selected at once. So if the app actually worked, the parent would be able to see multiple things at once instead of just one emotion. Snack button, snack button, snack button, snack button. And then I think we have, how many do we have? 8? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Tired button. Pretty simple. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to double click on all these. These are done. I'm going to double click on these, make them smaller, just to get them out of the way here. And we're just going to put them all up here for now, just so we don't have to worry about them. And if I was actually doing this, like, if I wasn't making multiple videos today, I would test this and make sure it worked. But that code's pretty simple. It should work. We'll fix it later if we have to. Okay, sweet. That's good. Now we need to make this look like it'll work, right? The Ask Mommy a Question button. So I'm going to click on this. Is this a list picker? Oh, it is. Okay, cool. I forgot I did that. So we have a few optional answers the user can pick from. I'm going to rename this list picker to Ask Parent Picker, just so we know what it is in the code. We're going to click here. The user's going to click here. They're going to select their thing, and then we're going to have the answer, the fake answer, appear here. So obviously, you know, the app's not actually going to work, but we're going to make it look like it works because it's a minimum viable product. So let's see if we can figure this out. Let's go to blocks, and we're going to grab the Ask Parent Picker. And after picking, okay, so after picking, so what we're going to do is we have a few questions here. I only have 2 questions in here as an example. You guys don't even have to have more than this. When are you coming home, and could you help me with something? We're going to have it say when they choose those, right? Let's go back to it. We're going to do another if-then statement, I believe. Call it to open, background code. Let's do this. Let's go up to the control, and let's just do another quick if-then statement. So if equals ask parent picker. Is there an after selecting? That's after picking, yes. Selection. If their selection is equal to, this is a little convoluted. Here's what we're going to do. If what they select is equal to this element, and I'm just going to copy and paste. I know my cursor is huge, so you can see it easier. I'm going to copy and paste that question. Control C. Boom. Go back here. Control V. So if they choose that one, right? When are you coming home? I wanted to do something. Same thing for the other one. But could you help me with something? I'm going to grab, actually, you know what? Let's grab this. Control C, Control V. Boom. Okay. I'm going to grab this other question here. And we don't need more than 2 questions, really. Again, it's an MVP. I'm going to copy and paste this. Put that there. So after they choose something, right, it's going to check to see what they chose. If this is what they chose, it'll do something here, and we'll put that in a second. And if what they chose is this, it'll do something else. And what we're going to make it show is we're going to make this label. So what label is this? This is label 2. I'm going to rename that to response label. You don't have to rename these things, but it just makes it easier to understand the code. And I'm going to go back here. So if the parent picker, if their selection is when are you coming home, we want that response label to display. Set response label text. Boom. 2. And we're going to put a fake answer, okay? I'll be home at 3:30 this afternoon. Ooh, and you know what we could do? I got an idea, but we'll change it in a second. And if they pick the other one, right, could you help me with something? We're going to make that response say, I'll be there in a minute. You know what I mean? Okay, and obviously these are fake answers. If it was actually working, the parent would respond on their own version of the application, but we didn't make that version. We made the user version. So yeah, that looks pretty good. I have an idea. So the idea behind the app is that it's for younger children, right? So that's why it's colorful. That's why the words are relatively simple. Maybe you put images in here. You might have put images in the buttons. That'd be cool. What we're gonna do is we're gonna add a. Let's go to media. Let's add text to speech to this bad boy, and we're gonna have the text to speech say stuff out loud to the child, just to add one more cool thing, right? So I'm gonna go grab the text to speech from the blocks here, and we're gonna have it speak the message as well. And I'm just copy and pasting that. Boom. And that's super easy to add. That's just a nice little feature. So it will read the message out to the child as well. So when they click on this button here, right, ask me a question, it will give them a list of questions from this elements of string, or elements from string. And depending on what they chose, it will give them an answer here in this label, and it will read it out to them. The last thing we got to code is the back button. This one's easy. So we're going to go to the blocks. Back button is button 9, I believe. I really should have labeled it. Let's label it real quick. Back button. It is. Rename. Back button. Go back to our code. Find it. When the back button is clicked, we're going to go to Control, I believe. Open another screen name, and it will open up our other screen, which is screen 1. So I'm going to grab some text, put it here, and we want it to open screen 1, so we're going to type in the exact screen 1 that it looks like up here. So when they hit that back button, it will take them back to our first screen. I believe we have to do the code for this too, don't we? So this is the Talk to Mommy button. We're not actually doing this. This will work, but it won't actually affect anything. Talk to Mommy, that needs to do something because we have no code for it. So let's do the same thing. When this button is selected, clicked, open another screen with a screen name of communication screen. Boom. Okay. We're good there. Fantastic. I believe this is done. This is some decent code here. I'm happy with it. If you guys have ideas of how to do it other than this, you can do that. But for the most part, we're just going to have it to where the buttons change the size of the button, or the font size on the button, and the colors of the buttons to indicate if it's selected or not. And we have the fake asking of a question working here as well. And of course, the back button is working. So that's basically it. Hopefully that was pretty easy. Hopefully that makes sense. If you want to try and test it out, go for it. Connect AI Companion. We're going to test these over this week, kind of fix some little issues if we need to, but otherwise I think it looks pretty good.